Coming up on NBA Today, the Lakers are in their post-LeBron era. Are more changes on the horizon? Our panel shares who they think might rock the purple and gold. Plus, Draymond is expected to re-up with the Warriors, so why hasn't he put pen to paper? We debate if there's any chance Draymond bids adieu to the Bay. And Caitlin Clark stomped on the sun last night, but not without some fireworks. You're going to want to hear what she had to say after the game, next on NBA Today. All right, LeBron walked out of the Lakers door just over 2 months ago, and we are not so patiently waiting for a decision. As the NBA waits, the Lakers have made a bunch of moves this offseason. Hi, everybody. Vanessa Richardson in for Malika Andrews today. We've got Dave McMenamin and Anthony Slater in studio. Dave, you reported last month the Lakers have been telling Luka, just wait until summer 2026. Yeah. Did they deliver on that?
Yeah, they did. According to a source familiar with Luka Doncic's thinking after the moves that they made, he's, quote, excited about them. Now, obviously, it starts off with Walker Kessler, and they paid a pretty penny to get him from Utah to do this sign-and-trade scenario. A bunch of future draft assets and also, an average salary of about $32 million a year. But they feel like he's going to be able to help them big time offensively as the guy who dives off the pick and roll, a vertical spacer, catching lobs, and then defensively, he is one of the better rim protectors in the league when he's been on the court. So that's a major piece, and I think they got guys like Sandro Mamukelashvili and Cameron Carr and Zaire Williams and also Quentin Grimes, all like rising players. They feel like they got younger and they have a group that can grow with Austin and Luka.
They're still after at least one more. I can tell you that they keep calling Jonathan Kuminga. And again, obviously they have not made a lucrative enough offer for Kuminga to jump. But part of their pitch has been, hey, you can come start here potentially. And that says two things to me. Number one, it says the Lakers still don't want to be done making moves, right? And they believe they're a little weak on the wing position, which, I think Thibault will help. I think, Zaire Williams will help. But, they could use some more juice on the wing. And maybe they get Kuminga done, maybe they don't. I think the LeBron domino affects Kuminga and what he may or may not be able to get. But, again, all I can tell you is Rob Pelinka keeps calling about Jonathan Kuminga.
Yeah, Dave, are the post-LeBron Lakers done building out their roster? You know this team better than anybody.
Well, there's 16 players on the team. So just by virtue of that information, that they aren't done. They're going to, between now and the start of the regular season, they could carry 16, they could carry up to 20 through the training camp. But through now and the start of the regular season, you got to get rid of a player. Whether that's going to be continuing to try to move some like Jared Vanderbilt or Dalton Connect that they've not had success with thus far. They've quite frankly tried for a while here. Or could it be someone like Jaden Hardy, who was picked up in the DeAndre Ayton deal, that was really more about trying to get some draft assets from Washington and move off of Ayton to make room for your new centers with Kevon Looney and Walker Kessler than it was about necessarily Hardy. That's one thing that absolutely has to happen, so that means their work's not done.
Yeah, all right, there are still plenty of big names available in free agency, including this guy, LeBron James. You got the Beard, James Harden, and Draymond Green. There are also some notable restricted free agents left. You got Jalen Duren and Peyton Watson, but a lot of this hinges on a 41-year-old's decision. LeBron has been seen with Draymond Green on several occasions this summer. Anthony, is there any way at all Draymond would ever leave the Warriors to join LeBron on another team? Those two are very tight.
You see the number on that graphic, $27.7 million. Draymond Green gave that back under, the assumption that if it comes down to it, he can get somewhere near that back from the Warriors. It was to give flexibility to go try to chase LeBron. If they were to get LeBron, that could get him maybe a multi-year deal at a lower number, but still financial security. To answer your question, there's been some speculation, hey, maybe he could follow LeBron to another place. LeBron's having trouble getting more than the minimum out there, so Draymond Green, if he were to follow LeBron, would have to take the minimum. And I mentioned that number, $27.7 million, because that's a lot more than $3.9 million. And I know Draymond Green. He likes $27.7 million a lot more than $3.9.
Well, the Warriors roster is pretty empty after this upcoming season. So what's the team's plan for that guy, Steph Curry? Talking long-term plans.
August 29th. Everybody's mentioned August 6th for Anthony Davis, and I think there's more angst about that one. August 29th is Steph Curry's extension eligibility date. From my understanding, despite the fact that they do, they're liking to keep their salary flexibility open long-term in clean books, Steph Curry's very, exclusive to that. He can If he wants a 1-year extension at big money, if he wants a 2-year extension, the Warriors are very open to that conversation. I think they want to see how this roster looks in the short term and long term, and then by the time we get to late August when he's eligible, Steph Curry and the Warriors will sit down and decide. And let's be honest, Steph Curry will basically decide, does he want 1 year or 2 year, or maybe just wait until next summer.
You can never talk enough about the Western Conference. It is a bloodbath every year, but certainly LeBron's decision, everything that happens moves those dominoes. Okay, WNBA All-Star Weekend begins tomorrow. The Fever will be sending 3 players to Chicago, but first they wrapped up the first half against the Sun last night. All right, Caitlin Clark, of course, was on fire early. She had the temperature rising in more ways than one. First minute of the game, Clark hits the left wing 3, and then about a minute later, Clark with the behind-the-back dribble and hits the 3. She's feeling it tonight. Yep, a few minutes later, Clark gets the handoff. She's going to hit yet another deep 3. She was in her bag last night. And then in the second quarter, Caitlin Clark comes off the screen. She's going to hit yet another 3. Indiana scored a franchise record 70 points in the first half, with Clark scoring or assisting on 35 of those points. But the third quarter, that is where people really have been talking, and it's got people's attention. Clark tries to drive by Sanaya Rivers, and she gets fouled hard, really hard. Let's take another look at that foul. Clark said, scoreboard, and then you see Rivers and Clark just drawing at each other. Both would be assessed technicals. Here was Clark after the game on that situation.
She said that she was guarding, like she said she was locking me up, so I said scoreboard. And the ref didn't like that. Like, I'm never gonna back down. And I think just like continue to try to control your emotions the best you can, and that intensity and that fire is what makes me me, but also like knowing my team needs me and finding a good balance of that. But you know, I don't think like I'm gonna be playing like with that in the back of my head.
Okay, so Caitlin Clark with 7 technical fouls, now 1 away from a 1-game suspension, and she'd be suspended again an additional game for every other tech for the rest of the season. Her 15 career techs are also the second most by a player within their first 3 WNBA seasons. And for more, our WNBA reporter Alexa Philippou joins us now. Never a dull moment on your beat. Clark's suspension seems almost inevitable at this point. Does she have any plans to appeal that?
Yeah, Vanessa, I've been told by a team source that that technical foul from yesterday has been appealed. Not yet heard a decision yet. The Fever also appealed the technical foul she was given on their July 18th game against the New York Liberty. That one was not rescinded. So yes, it really does come down to whether or not the league were to rescind the technical from yesterday. But as things stand, she's still 1 technical foul away from that automatic 1-game suspension.
All right, Alexa, we'll get back to you in just a second. We also had some big returns last night. Paige Beckers was back in action after missing the Wings last game. Wings at Portland Fire, making her return. Let's go to the third quarter. Beckers catches the pass, then knocks down the 3 seamlessly. Later in the third, Beckers shows off the handle. Then she'll nail the jumper here. Beckers looking really good in her return. No rust at all. Let's jump to the fourth quarter, shall we? Beckers catches it and drills yet another 3. On fire during this game. The Wings closing it out. Beckers is going to pump fake, then hits the 3. Beckers, by the way, finished with 21 points in her return to action as the Wings get the win 101-97. All right, to Link Storm we go. Nafisa Collier making her season debut against the Storm. She would struggle early. Here's what Collier had to say about a rough start.
That first soak. And then after that, I feel like I got my feet under me a little bit. Obviously, it's just like a year of pent-up excitement.
Okay, but she would bounce back. In this one, Courtney Williams with the assist, and Collier knocks down the jumper, Lynx down by 1. We head to the third quarter, Lynx up 51-47. Collier fighting down low. She pulls up, hits the bucket, and 1. Lynx now lead 54-47 after she makes the free throw. Lynx up 4, final minute of the quarter, final minute of the game. Collier banks in the post shot. She finished with 24 points, 10 rebounds in her return as the Lynx defeat the Storm 86-76. Back with our girl Alexa now. All right, Nafisa Collier, why return now? And what does this mean for the Lynx?
Yeah, well, there was a lot of communication back and forth between the Lynx medical staff and Collier to make sure this was what made sense timing-wise, and it actually does work out pretty well because they can see how her body responds, how it feels after that game. Have that little bit of a break just in case she needs a little bit more rest. But what's really crazy about this whole situation, I think, with with the Lynx is that Cheryl Reeves said, hey, this is just an evolution. This is just one step as she gets her way back onto the court. But we're talking about a player that came back after not playing basketball since last fall, had a 20-point double-double in 22 minutes. So obviously already playing at a very high level. We know she has really high standards for herself, but this is just the beginning part of the process of getting back to that MVP level self we know that Collier can be. But even as that's, a little bit in the rear view mirror, we know that she's also going to make life easier for her Lynx teammates. We know they have Olivia Miles, who's able to take some of that pressure off of Collier as well, so they can all help each other out in that regard. And I thought it was interesting, Collier said that she really was proud of the way the team did without her, but, this goes to show because they're top in the standings, no one can count them out. I really don't think anyone's going to count them out now that Collier's back.
Oh, she's just such a great leader for sure. All right, I got to talk to you about the three-point contest because the WNBA three-point contest is tomorrow, and last year's champ, Sabrina Ionescu, is not in the field. Alexa, what have you heard about her absence from that event?
Yeah, this has kind of turned into a he said, she said of sorts. We have Sabrina saying yesterday that she never got an official invitation, that she could have actually even declined. So it was confusing why there were reports about her declining the invitation. And then you have the league coming out and saying from a spokesperson today that they generally reach out to agents to determine a player's interest in something like this. And so my sense is that there must have been some conversation between these two parties, the agent or the league and whatnot. But you also have not only Sabrina saying that there was some sort of disconnect here between an official invite and maybe just gauging interest, but Kayla McBride, who was another player that we reported declined to participate in the three-point contest, she posted on Instagram that she received, I'm going to say her words, I quote, half-ass invitation over text to her agent in terms of participating in this. And so given all of what's happening surrounding this, I think we can just say one thing's clear. There's a disconnect between what the players are either expecting or what they want in terms of communication from the league and then what the league is doing. We can't necessarily speak to what those conversations are, but that just has to be rectified moving forward so this doesn't keep happening the way it has.
No question. Great coverage as always, Alexa. Thank you. Still to come on NBA Today, what happens in Vegas does not stay in Vegas as these Summer League rookies have us buzzing. Our panel explains why. Plus the heartwarming story of how A'ja Wilson lent her MVP magic to a young fan. You won't want to miss the latest My Wish. And the Rockets just added a major piece yesterday. Find out who is making their way to H-Town and why it marks a major change. Next on NBA Today. Since the 2026 NBA Draft, number 1 and number 2 picks A.J. Dubonsa and Darren Peterson will always be tied together, both off to really memorable starts in Vegas. Here's an all-access look at how all the top prospects did in a memorable summer league.
My whole life I thought I was going to cry when I got drafted, but as soon as I got drafted, I was like, it's time to go hoop. It's time for summer league.
Yes, sir! Hey, man, you got to bring it. Stay. Come on. Yo, up the lead.
Peterson, pass to Hoist, and drills a three.
Yo, one's open. Quick. Yo, if they blitz it.
He can score the ball in a lot of different ways.
Let's win this game, please.
Keeps the dribble here the entire time. Oh, what a shot.
It's a blessing to be here, and I think it's really exciting. It's just the start of my journey.
Oh, cookies. Loser with the fly.
I was just taking that game as serious as I could, like it was the NBA playoffs. It was great for the opportunity to play again.
It was in a losing effort, but Wilson put on a show.
A lot of people feel like this is going to go down as one of the best draft classes ever in NBA history.
From Las Vegas, it's Championship Sunday.
Man, set it on. Just set it on 3. 1, 2, 3. Let's go.
Just able to get the dunk.
Led the board for 3. Down, the lead belongs to the Warriors. Warriors win it for the championship.
That's right, baby.
All right, here's a look at your updated Rookie of the Year odds, courtesy of DraftKings Sportsbook. Darren Peterson and Cameron Boozer are currently tied for the shortest odds, just ahead of A.J. Dubonsa and Caleb Wilson. All right, Summer League has come and gone, welcoming our senior writer, Vince Goodwill, and everybody on this panel, by the way, a Summer League sicko. We didn't just come in and eat our Javier's and go home. We were out there. Vince, we're going to start with you. Who had your attention after an impressive Summer League showing?
Caleb Wilson as the number 4 pick. I know we talked about this being a generational draft, but the Chicago Bulls, more than any other franchise, since they traded Derrick Rose in the summer of 2016, they have not gotten this draft right. Last time they had a number 4 pick, Patrick Williams in 2020, and he's underwhelmed throughout that time. So Bryson Graham and that new front office getting the first pick of their regime properly done is a big thing for them because they've been constantly in the muck as a franchise for the last 10 years. I know it's summer league, but man, didn't he look like a baby Kevin Garnett? Didn't he look like, he just looked like a franchise player in the little glimpse that we got.
Yeah, I'm so excited to see, of course, what he can do with Tiago Splitter there in Chicago. Dave, you spent a couple days in Vegas on the sidelines. Who caught your eye out there?
Yeah, Vanessa, let's talk about Braden Berries. He goes from a Final Four appearance with Arizona to being top 5 in summer league scoring, averaging about 24, 5 and 5. He was able to get into the lane kind of with at will, a little bit of a snake dribble to his game. He shot a few threes per game, mid-30s percentage-wise, 2 steals per game. And when you talk about a franchise trying to rebuild after trading away the face of the franchise, maybe the best player in franchise history, in Giannis Antetokounmpo, sometimes that can cause a cratering effect. But if you hit on a guy like him in number 10, that's a great value pick from John Rose.
Yeah, it really was. And Braden stood out, it seemed like, in every game out there. Slater, who stood out to you?
Darius Acuff. He wasn't particularly efficient, but he had high usage there. 29 shots his first game, 100 shots in his first 5 games in Summer League. And that's what the Kings want. He steps into the franchise day one, really, as a 19-year-old who is getting the keys to the offense. And it's going to be a delicate balance for him. He still has some established, known veterans, Domantas Sabonis, Zach LaVine, who would be likely in the starting lineup next to him, so he's going to have to navigate that. But everybody in Kingsland knows, including Sabonis and LaVine, that Acuff is part of this next wave of Kings, Scott Perry's biggest pick, and he's going to have the keys right away, and I think he's going to take a lot of shots.
And Zach LaVine, he was in Las Vegas to see Darius Acuff for 1 game, and he was impressed with him. He said, you know what, I really like his game. I think we want to play well together. He understands that Acuff is the future of the franchise, and for however long he's there, that's going to be the backcourt for the Sacramento Kings. Like you said, Scott Perry, this is his first big draft pick. They're putting the ball in his hands. And Darius Acuff told me, hey, look, I know I'm going to be measured against Keaton Wagler and Michael Brown Jr. I welcome the competition, and I welcome being the face for the Sacramento Kings franchise. And remember, I'm from Detroit. This is the highest draft pick as a Detroit native for a very long time. So he is carrying a city and a region on his back, and he welcomes all of that.
Slater, I loved covering Axel Lindenborg. His versatility was on full display every game, but off the court, sensational interviews, so animated, so fun, plays with so much joy. But how much pressure is on Axel joining Steph Curry and, of course, the Warriors team where the expectations are just always really high?
He doesn't seem to think there's that much pressure. At least, you mentioned enjoying covering him. The sound bites have been incredible so far. Included in one of those sound bites, I asked him about his early conversations with Steve Kerr, and he mentioned, hey, Steve has a history of not playing rookies, but basically said, he's different, and Steve Kerr's already told him he might start. And I just thought it was interesting to already use the S word as a rookie playing in Summer League. But then guess what? He went out and won Summer League MVP. And I know he's older. He kind of you would expect him to have this type of run in Summer League, but he produced. And honestly, unless LeBron James comes to the Warriors, Jimmy Butler's out, Moses Moody's out, I actually do think he's probably going to start.
That's fascinating, yeah, and all of us that are going to interview him will enjoy him for sure. All right, coming up, A'ja Wilson is having yet another MVP-level season on the court, but it's the impact that she continues to make off the court that has her the most proud. We show you right after this break. You won't want to miss it.
Welcome back to NBA.
Biggest takeaways. Take it away, Chanae.
It's time to do a mid-season temperature check on the WNBA to find out who's hot and who's not. Well, the hottest team in the league is the Minnesota Lynx. I may have doubted their abilities without Fee, but they quickly proved me wrong. 3 All-Stars, Natasha Howard, Courtney Williams, and rookie sensation Olivia Miles. But don't sleep on Kayla McBride, who has been averaging 24.8 points over her last 10 games while shooting 46% from 3 on over 9 attempts per game. Nafisa is back, and they might actually win it all this year. Now, if the Lynx are lighting it up on offense, we have to talk about what the Golden State Valkyries are doing with their defense, which has helped them to the best home record in the W this season. Here are some of the numbers. First in defensive efficiency, first in points off of turnovers, First in paint points, limiting you to just 30 paint points per game. They're doing this in back-to-back years. That's what has helped them. Their defense all the way up the standings. Now, let's talk about the Indiana Fever, because their backcourt has been absolutely sick in the best way possible. Everyone knows Caitlin Clark's heat check, the first ever 40-point, 10-assist game in league history. But don't sleep on Kelsey Mitchell, who has been averaging 27.3 points per game during her franchise record 10-game streak with at least 20 points. And Aaliyah Boston has expanded her range. She's already made more threes this season than she did all of last season. And now a team that has been cold in the worst ways. The New York Liberty, they have dropped 4 of 6 since winning the WNBA's Commissioner's Cup championship, and they went from tied for second in the WNBA standings all the way down to 7th. They have not had any form of continuity. Look at this right here, 13 different starting lineups already in the WNBA this season. Last year, I think they had 18, so they're near that mark, and that's largely because of their lack of help. Their core players have missed 46 games. We'll see if they can turn things around the second half of the season. Now, the last thing that you need to know, let me cue KD. Who is the real MVP? Right now, the answer is Asia Wilson, who leads the league in scoring and also has led her team to a very cozy, comfortable place in the standings. Now, she can make history again with her 5th MVP in the last 7 seasons. That is wild. But I want you guys to look at this, because there's a lot of momentum for Paige Beckers. Paige is on pace for a career year, and she literally dazzles us every game with a spectacular play, from a reverse layup to a nice behind-the-back step-back 3 and 1 hunt. But she has also led her team from last year being tied for worst to a big burst up the standings. The second half of the WNBA season will be red hot.
You're watching NBA Today.
Former Oklahoma City Thunder, now Atlanta Hawk, Lou Dort was on vacation, flapping the wings, yelling, "Caw-caw!" Full on team spirit for Lou as he joins his new squad next season.
Lou Dort, all-time good guy.
Oh, yeah.
I know everybody's going to talk about what the Thunder's losing on defense. They're losing a lot in the locker room, and one of Shea's best friends.
I just want to know, when Lou Dort is on a boat, does it become a board?
That's... There we go. Oh, speaking of the Thunder, they lost another key piece yesterday, but this one might have gone under the radar. Sean Strawny reports that assistant coach and shooting guru, the shot doctor, Chip England, is going to the Houston Rockets. Longtime Spurs coach, was at OKC for the past 4 seasons. Houston was bottom 3 in the league last season in three-point attempts, something that could definitely change. Remember, effective field goal percentage accounts for three-pointers being worth more than two-pointers. And among 194 players to attempt at least 250 jumpers last season, Thompson and Şengün had the 2 lowest effective field goal percentages on those shots. Now, the good news, Şengün and Thompson both extremely malleable, coachable. I can tell you firsthand, they are in the gym working on it. I think Chip England, who helped Kawhi's shot, could be huge, and all those guys in OKC. Dave, you covered the other end of that playoff series between the Rockets and Lakers. There's a story that relates to the shooting of the Rockets' young core.
Yeah, we were in Toyota Center, visitors' locker room after Game 3. The Lakers won that one in dramatic fashion. And LeBron's sitting in front of his locker, kind of surveying the stat sheet and looking at what Amen Thompson did. And he turned over, I think it was to Marcus Smart, and be like, man, when Amen gets a 15-footer, better watch out. Clearly, his skills speak for themselves. Such a great athlete. The defensive intensity, you can just tell he's a student of the game, wants to get better. But shots 10 feet and beyond last season, he only shot 29% from the field. And so that's a clear area of improvement that he needs to make, and really no better guy than Chip England to work with.
Houston has an extension eligibility decision on him this summer. But to me, it's not just about him either. You know, the Rockets as a team, 31.5 attempts from 3 per game last season, 3rd fewest in the league. You mentioned the playoff series against the Lakers. Amen Thompson only took 8 threes the whole series, 6 games. And Şengün only took 8 threes. Like, it's about volume, too. And I think if your confidence gets up, if Chip England can raise the team's confidence, maybe they will take more. Because I think in the modern NBA, you have to shoot more threes to win games.
That's right.
And here's the other thing. Chip England has a laundry list of NBA players, starting from Grant Hill, not just Kawhi Leonard, Shane Battier, all type of different players with different shooting forms. So if you look at Amen Thompson's shooting form and you're wondering what can be done with it, he's got a laundry list of successes throughout the course of his career of guys who've done it. And it's important to note out, these things take time. It's not going to be a year-over-year process. Assuming Amen Thompson is the guy, like Slater said, extension eligible, he's going to be the future there. This is going to be a yearly process for him to improve his shooting, getting the shots up. So I wouldn't say expecting a miracle next year. I would expect incremental incremental progress.
Yeah, he works on that. Anthony Slater works on that shot all summer long.
Yeah, you know, the Rockets have generally been, I don't want to say stingy with their extension eligibility, but right, they actually bargained pretty hard with Sengun in the past. And I wonder, Amen Thompson to me seems kind of like almost an auto max type of guy, considering what he means to the franchise. But if he was an auto max guy, would that extension already be done right now?
Yeah, Dave, you've covered the NBA for a long time. You've seen what Chip England could do with these superstars. How can he add that level of confidence to Amen Thompson and now for Sengun?
You work on it so often that it just becomes routine. You don't have to think about it anymore. And so I'm sure part of his process will be examining Amen Thompson's form and see if there are any kinks in it that he can work out, and then find something that works for him, and get the reps. And when you get the reps, you get the confidence, and then you implement them in 3-on-3 opportunities, and 5-on-5 in practice, and then once you can do it in a game, you know, that's where you make the next step. Like everyone thinks, I think everyone at this panel today, we all feel like he's going to be an all-star at some point in his career. This is the work that is required to get to that level.
And Chip England's services were highly sought after, so shout out to the Fertittas for spending that money. I'm excited to cover Chip there in Houston. All right, coming up, still no decision from LeBron, but whenever